Hey everyone, Gilbee here, and welcome back to the tower. We are heading back to Calgary International Airport in Canada, where we will be doing a busier than normal schedule. In the last episode, we took a first look at Calgary, and traffic-wise, it wasn't overly that busy. I think at its peak, normally about 40 odd flights an hour. But today we're going to beef things up. And yeah, probably beef things up quite substantially. We will be using a schedule that has been created by somebody in the community, Benny M757, and we should probably change this to May 7 just so that it matches. We will be using his busy schedule. There is an even busier schedule which I've looked at, and it's going to be way too much. I think, excuse me, the real schedule that we will be doing is, I think it's about 3 to 4 times the amount of traffic. So let's jump in and see what we have. I have also looked at flight radar. I can't remember. Did I select Meta? I think I did. So current Meta, according to Flight Radar, has this airport at, yeah, we're not doing VFR, that's fine. Has it at 14 knots, 10 degrees, 14 knots. So it does mean that we will need to operate the 3.5 runways, especially if we're going to keep up with the demand. Airline color is not found. Well, that's good. We are using the Nurges design pack, so I think there is a couple of liveries and things that are missing, but should be good for the most part. This is the one thing about doing this live, you can't edit this loading screen out. Hope everyone is having a good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are. Oh, taking a while. All right, here we go. Oh, it does look good. Okay, let's check the Meta. Oh, it's eased up a little bit. Okay, so I think we're gonna take the narrow bodies off there, and we will go. We'll bring everything on there. Cargo, wide bodies, BizJets, turbos, and props. And we'll try, yeah, all right. We'll try that configuration. Just because, I don't know if you noticed in the last episode that there is an issue with runway 35 right, in that planes don't yield before they actually hit the runway. They line up straight away. That is a bug in the map, unfortunately. So we today will be trying to force all of our departures out on 35, on 35 left, and 35 right will be pure arrivals. So we are going to need to tweak things a little bit compared to how we operated in the last one. Let's bring up our debright. Hopefully by reducing the number that we have on 35 left, that will help, but we will see. Camera wise, we've got our F7 on top of the tower. Looking out across there, I can see, oh yeah, we've got some Condor, we've got some KLM, we've got some Air France, Rouge. It's interesting, we've got a Flare and a Lufthansa parked at the same gate. I can see some more Flares over there, some WestJet. WestJet everywhere. There's Star Alliance Heavy in amongst all of that. Some Air Canada in there as well. Looks like FedEx is dominating over there. And if we've got, I can see straight away, I can see a nav light on a GA, which makes me not happy. We have got a camera on top of the international terminal, and we've got one on top of the domestic terminal as well. Looks like we've got a WestJet special livery down there, do we? That looks like a Disney princess there. All right, back up in the tower. Let's get this show on the road. I can see there are 17 that have flagged boarding, which is just a few. We will try and get everyone down Charlie and out that way. GA stuff, Alpha down to 35 Lima. We will need to watch any of the smaller arrivals
Calgary
that come in.
Air Canada 4327 with information Juliet, requesting push and start.
Air Canada 4327, pushback approved, expect runway 35 left. Wow, straight into it.
Pushback approved, expect runway 35 left. Air Canada 4327.
We won't be using de-icing bays today. I don't think there's any need for it. Does this give us the temperature? No, it does not.
Calgary
10
ground,
degrees, 14 knots.
WestJet 1683 with information Juliet, requesting push and start.
WestJet 1683, pushback approved, facing south.
Pushback approved, facing south. WestJet 1683.
So in the previous stint that we did here, the first look, we were dividing all of the traffic. So WestJet 1683 would have gone to 35 right, and Air Canada would have gone to 35 left.
Calgary ground. WestJet 448 with information Kilo.
Due to the bug
push and
here,
start.
we'll be sending everything down to 35 left. WestJet 448, pushback approved, expect runway 35 left.
Pushback approved, expect runway 35 left. WestJet 448.
WestJet 448. Slow pushbacks.
Calgary ground. Charlie November Kilo 751 with information Kilo. Ready to start.
Charlie November Kilo 751. Approved. Expect runway 35 left.
Approved, expect runway 35 left. Charlie November Kilo 751.
Air Canada 4327, taxi to runway 35 left, cross runway 11.
Taxi to runway 35 left, cross runway 11. Air Canada 4327.
Encore 1347, pushback approved, expect runway 35 left.
Pushback approved, expect runway 35 left. Encore 1347. Calgary ground, Air Canada 4327 ready to taxi.
WestJet 1683, taxi to runway 35 left via Charlie. Cross runway 11. WestJet 1848, cleared to land, runway 35 right.
Taxi to runway 35 left, via Charlie. Cross runway 11, WestJet 1683.
WestJet 448, taxi to runway 35 left via Charlie. Cross runway 11.
Cleared to land, runway 35 right. WestJet 1848.
That is a very interesting taxi that you're going to do.
Taxi to runway 35 left.
That's alright.
Via Charlie. Cross runway 11. WestJet 448.
WestJet 896, pushback approved, facing south. Air Sprint 261, approved, expect runway 35. Left.
Pushback approved facing south. WestJet 896. Approved expect runway 35 left. Air Sprint 261.
Calgary ground.
Few movements already.
WestJet 1683 ready to taxi.
Ooh.
Calgary Tower, WestJet 1848 on final 35 right.
Labot 2004 subscribed to the channel.
Calgary ground.
Hey, Labot.
WestJet 448
Welcome.
ready to taxi.
Encore 1347, taxi to runway 35 left via Juliet, Charlie. Cross runway 11. Charlie November Kilo 751, taxi to runway 35 left. Hello? Are you going to respond?
Taxi to runway 35 left, via Juliet, Charlie, cross
was
runway
weird.
11. Encore 1347.
Encore 48, pushback approved, expect runway 35 left.
Taxi to runway 35 left, Charlie November Kilo 751.
Air Sprint 261, taxi to runway 35 left. Ooh,
Pushback approved.
That's
Expect
gonna be a
runway
problem.
35 left. Encore 48.
Charlie November Kilo 677, cleared to land, runway 35 left. WestJet 8155 heavy, cleared to land, runway 35 right. WestJet 896, taxi to runway 35 left via Juliet, Charlie, cross runway 11. I can see we're going to end up with a massive queue.
Air Sprint 261.
WestJet 90381, taxi. WestJet 90381, pushback approved, expect runway 35 left. WestJet 3808, pushback approved, expect runway 35 left.
Cleared to land, runway 35 left, Charlie November Kilo 677.
Charlie November Kilo 651, approved, expect runway 35 left. Air Canada 730, pushback approved, expect runway 35 left. Charlie November Kilo 751, cleared for immediate takeoff, runway 35 left. Hey, wobbly!
Cleared to land, runway 35 right. WestJet 8155 heavy. Taxi to runway 35 left, via Juliet, Charlie.
No fireballs
cross
today,
runway 11,
mate.
WestJet 896.
Well, there's your problem.
Command property error.
What problem?
WestJet 90381.
WestJet 5535, cleared to land, runway 35 right. Encore 48, taxi to runway 35 left via Juliet, Charlie, cross runway 11. Oh, I know what I was supposed to do before today's
Pushback approved,
stream.
expect runway 35 left. WestJet 9381.
That's a bummer.
Pushback approved, expect runway 35 left. WestJet 3808.
Pushback approved, expect runway 35 left. Air Canada 730.
I knew there was something I needed to
Clear
do.
for immediate
I needed to
takeoff. Runway
update
35
the
left.
instruments.
Charlie November Kilo 751.
Cleared to land. Runway 35 right. WestJet 5535.
Air Canada 4327, cleared for takeoff, runway 35 left. I meant to update the
Taxi to runway
instrument
35 left via Juliet. Charlie.
pack.
Cross runway 11. Encore 48.
Encore 2239er, pushback approved, expect runway 35 left. This is...
Cleared for takeoff. Runway 35 left. Air Canada 4327.
Pushback approved, expect
WestJet
runway 35 left.
9381, taxi to runway 35 left via Charlie, cross runway 11. WestJet 3808, taxi to runway 35 left via Charlie, cross runway 11. Air Canada 730, taxi to runway 35 left via Juliet, Charlie, cross runway 11.
Taxi to runway 35 left via Charlie, cross runway 11. WestJet 9381.
Taxi to runway 35 left via Charlie. Cross runway 11. WestJet 3808.
Interesting. Hotel and Hotel Bravo. WestJet 1848, taxi to the intersection of Hotel Bravo and Hotel via Juliet Hotel.
Taxi to runway 35 left via Juliet. Charlie. Cross runway 11. Air Canada 730.
Taxi and hold at the intersection of taxiway Hotel Bravo and Hotel via Juliet. Hotel. WestJet 1848.
Charlie November Kilo 185, cleared to land, runway 35 left.
Cleared to land. Runway 35 left. Charlie November Kilo 185.
Charlie November Kilo 651, approved, expect runway 35 left. Charlie November Kilo 751, contact departure. That's alright, Wobbly.
35 left. Charlie November Kilo 651.
As long as I don't get the planes to crash,
Calgary
it's fine.
departure on 119.8. Charlie November Kilo 751. Good
Can
day.
West 9016, approved, expect runway 35 left. This is crazy.
Approved, expect runway 35 left. Can West 916.
WestJet 3466, pushback approved, expect runway 35 left. Flare 490, pushback approved, expect runway 35 left. WestJet 3213, pushback approved, expect runway 35 left.
Pushback approved, expect runway 35 left. WestJet 3466.
WestJet 8155 Heavy, taxi to the intersection of Gulf and Juliet via Bravo, Juliet. That's not what I said at all.
Pushback approved,
WestJet
runway
8155
Flare
Heavy,
490.
taxi to the intersection of Gulf and Juliet via Juliet.
Pushback approved, expect
Encore
runway
2239er,
WestJet
taxi to
3213.
runway 35 left via Juliet, Charlie, cross runway 11. Air Spring 261, cleared for immediate takeoff, runway 35 left.
Negative. I'm arrival. WestJet 8155 Heavy.
Air Canada 4327, contact departure. Computer doesn't
Taxi
like
and hold
that.
at the intersection of Taxi
Can West
and
37,
Juliet,
cleared to land, runway
WestJet 8155
35 right.
Taxi to runway 35 left via Juliet.
Charlie November
cross
Kilo
runway 11.
677,
Encore 2239.
taxi to ramp.
Cleared for immediate takeoff. Runway
Cathay
35 left.
Cargo
Airspeed 261.
7008 heavy, pushback approved, expect runway 35 left. WestJet 3466, taxi to runway 35 left via Charlie, cross runway 11. Flare 490, taxi to runway 35 left via Charlie, cross runway 11. This would be Calgary in Canada.
119.8. Air Canada 4327. Good day.
WestJet 5535, taxi to the intersection of Hotel Bravo and Hotel via Juliet Hotel.
Clear to land.
WestJet
Runway
3213,
Can West
taxi to
37.
runway 35 left via Charlie, cross runway 11. Who's next? WestJet 1683. Cleared for takeoff, runway 35 left. Huh? Huh? That's... Okay, I need to rethink runway combination now.
Taxi to Ryan. Charlie November Kilo 677.
Are we going to end up with too many on this one? No, it's these two here. CWA37 and 7260. This one's traveling at 95, this one's traveling at 196. That's going to end up with a collision in the air. That's a bit annoying. Okay, so we'll change the configuration. All of the small stuff on 35 left. Everything else on 35, the biggest stuff on 35 right. And we'll keep all of the departures on 35 left. Just because of that bug. The 35 right bug. All right. WestJet 3466, taxi to runway 35 left via Charlie, cross runway 11.
Pushback approved, expect runway 35 left, Cathay Cargo 7008 heavy.
WestJet 1683, cleared for immediate takeoff, runway 35 left.
Taxi to
WestJet
runway
8906, cleared for takeoff, runway 35 left.
Flare 490.
Charlie November Kilo 651, taxi to runway 35 left. Can West 916, taxi to runway 35 left. Where is this one?
Taxi and hold at the intersection of Taxiway Hotel Bravo and Hotel via Juliet.
Encore 1533.
WestJet 5535.
Pushback approved. Expect runway 35 left.
Taxi to runway 35 left, via Charlie. Cross runway 11, WestJet 3213.
Can you get through there?
Cleared for takeoff.
Yes,
runway
you can.
35 left.
WestJet 1848, taxi to ramp.
Taxi to runway 35 left, via Charlie. Cross runway 11, WestJet 3466.
Cathay Cargo 7008 Heavy, taxi to runway 35 left, cross runway 11.
Cleared for immediate takeoff. Runway 35 left. WestJet 1683.
Can West 37, go around, contact departure. Encore 7260, cleared to land, runway 35 right.
Cleared for takeoff. Runway 35 left. WestJet 896.
Taxi to runway 35 left. Charlie November Kilo 651.
Porter Air 2475, cleared to land, runway 35 right. Airspring 261, contact departure. WestJet 1683, contact departure. WestJet 896, contact departure.
Taxi to runway 35 left. Can West 916.
Morningstar 6196, pushback approved, expect runway 35 left. Morningstar 90860, pushback approved, expect runway 35 left.
Pushback approved. Expect runway 35 left. Encore 1533.
Morningstar 6196, pushback approved, expect runway 35 left. Encore 1533, taxi to runway 35 left via Juliet, Charlie, cross runway 11.
Taxi to RAM. WestJet 1848.
Encore 22... Oh, no, it's not you. It's you.
Taxi to runway 35 left, cross runway 11. Cathay Cargo 700 and
WestJet 8155 Heavy, taxi to terminal. This one is a very hard configuration, this one.
Good day.
United 4237, pushback approved, expect runway 35 left. Encore 90758, cleared to land, runway 35 left. Encore 1347, cleared for takeoff, runway 35 left.
Cleared to land, runway 35 right, Encore 7260.
You're
Clear
going
to land, runway
WestJet
35
618,
right.
pushback
Order
approved,
2475.
expect runway 35 left. WestJet 7488, pushback approved, expect runway 35 left. Condor 927 Heavy, pushback approved, expect runway 35 left. Rouge 9685 Heavy, pushback approved, expect runway 35 left. Encore 1533, taxi to runway 35 left via Juliet, Charlie, cross runway 11.
Calgary departure on 119.8. Airsprint 261. Good day.
Wow.
Calgary departure on 119.8. WestJet 1683. Good day.
Calgary departure on 119.8, WestJet 896. Good day.
Morningstar 90860, taxi to runway 35 left. Morningstar 61906, follow company. No, what happened there? Okay,
Pushback approved. Expect runway 35 left. Morningstar 90860.
Why are we getting so much traffic on 35 left? BizJets, turboprops, props. Let's move the turboprops over there too. This, Benny M, this is an absolute crazy schedule, man. Absolute crazy. I think... Did we... Did we... You're coming down. TSA Assistant is showing that it's really not happy. So you are there. Where was the go around? There was a go around, right? Hey, Triple D honey. Yeah, that one. No, that was departure, wasn't it? That one. Encore 9758, contact departure. All right, let's clean up this mess. Encore 1152, go around, contact departure. Encore 2654, go around, contact departure.
Pushback approved. Expect runway 35 left. Morningstar 6196.
Wow.
Taxi to terminal, WestJet 8155 heavy.
WestJet 88, cleared to land, runway 35 right. Encore 7260, taxi to ramp. Now what?
Pushback approved. Expect runway 35 left. United 4237.
Oops. Need triple honey and lemon. Yes, I do. Wow.
Cleared to land, runway 35 left.
I think I need the
Encore
tags
9758.
on.
Cleared for takeoff, runway 35 left. Encore 1347.
Encore 448, cleared for takeoff, runway 35 left. WestJet 448, cleared for takeoff, runway 35 left.
Pushback approved, expect runway 35 left. WestJet 7488.
United 4237, taxi to runway 35 left via Bravo, Juliet, Charlie, cross runway 11. Morningstar 6196, taxi to runway 35 left.
Pushback approved, expect runway 35 left.
WestJet 5535, taxi to ramp.
Pushback approved, expect runway 35 left. Rouge 9685 heavy.
Rouge 9685 heavy, taxi to runway 35 left via Juliet, Charlie, cross runway 11. Condor 927 heavy, taxi to runway 35 left, cross runway 11.
Taxi to runway 35
WestJet
left.
7488, taxi to runway 11.
Encore 1533.
Cross runway 11. WestJet 7488, taxi to runway 35 left, cross runway 11.
Taxi to runway 35 left.
WestJet
Morningstar
3808,
9860.
cleared for takeoff, runway 35 left. Encore 1347, contact departure.
Calgary departure on 119.
Porter Air 2475, taxi to the intersection of Juliet and Hotel Bravo. Porter Air 2475, taxi to the intersection of Hotel Bravo and Hotel via Juliet Hotel.
Calgary departure on 119.8. Encore
WestJet
1152.
448,
Good
contact
day.
departure. Can West 9016, cleared for takeoff, runway 35 left. Can West 9016, cleared for takeoff, runway 35 left.
Calgary departure on 119.8. Encore 2654. Good
United
day.
7385, push back approved, expect runway 35 left. WestJet 4047, push back approved, expect runway 35 left. WestJet 2557, push back approved, expect runway 35 left.
Cleared to land. Runway 35 right. WestJet 88.
Charlie November Kilo 185, taxi to runway 35 left.
Taxi to ramp. Encore 7260.
Encore 2612, cleared to land, runway 35 right.
Cleared for takeoff. Runway 35 left. WestJet 448.
WestJet 3808, contact departure.
Taxi to runway 35 left via Bravo, Juliet, Charlie.
Charlie
Cross runway
November
11,
Kilo
United
651, cleared for immediate takeoff, runway 35 left.
Taxi to runway 35 left. Morningstar 6196.
Cathay Cargo 7008 Heavy, cleared for takeoff, runway 35 left.
Taxi to ramp. WestJet 5535.
Huh?
Taxi to runway 35 left. Bravo, Juliet, Charlie, cross runway 11. Rouge 9685 heavy.
What's going on here? You are arrival. Why are you not going to your bay? Charlie November Kilo 185, taxi to ramp. How did you get down there without... Okay, that's weird. This is doing some really weird stuff. WestJet 88, taxi to the intersection of Hotel Bravo and Hotel via Juliet Hotel.
Taxi to runway 35 left, cross runway 11, Condor 927 heavy.
Let's go back to the
Taxi to runway 11, WestJet 7488.
WestJet 88's got its command.
Taxi to runway 35
United
left,
7385, taxi to
WestJet
runway
7488.
35 left via Juliet, Charlie, cross runway 11. If I was that
Cleared
little
for takeoff,
prop,
runway 35
I would
left,
be absolutely
WestJet
packing myself
3808.
at the moment.
Calgary departure on 119.8. Encore 1347. Good day.
Charlie, Foxtrot 8, Hotel Niner, approved, expect runway 11. WestJet 4047, pushback approved, expect runway 35 left.
Negative. Intersection not found. Porter Air 2475.
WestJet 2557, taxi to runway 35 left via Charlie, cross runway 11. Whoa, what a mess. WestJet 618, pushback approved, expect runway 35 left.
Taxi and hold at the intersection of Taxiway Hotel Bravo and Hotel via Juliet Hotel. Porter Air
Air Canada
2475.
3826 heavy, pushback approved, expect runway 35 left. CanWest 9016, contact departure. Charlie November Kilo 651, contact departure.
Calgary departure on 119.8.
747.
Good day.
747,
Cleared for takeoff.
Queen of
Runway
the
35
Skies.
left. Ken West 9er16.
Porter Air 2475, taxi to ramp.
Pushback approved. Expect runway 35 left. United 7385.
WestJet 3927, pushback approved, expect runway 35 left. WestJet 9381, line up and wait, runway 35 left. SkyWest 6704, pushback approved, expect runway 35 left. WestJet 4047, taxi to runway 35 left via Juliet, Charlie, cross runway 11. Where are you going? Oh, you're going out, that's
Pushback
fine.
approved. Expect runway 35 left. WestJet 2557.
Porter Air 2475, taxi to ramp.
Negative. I'm arrival. Charlie November Kilo 185.
Huh?
Clear to land. Runway 35
WestJet
right.
9381,
Anchor
cleared
2612.
for takeoff, runway 35 left. Air Canada 730, cleared for takeoff, runway 35 left. Cathay Cargo 7008 heavy, contact departure.
Calgary departure on 119.8. WestJet
Oof.
3808.
Busy.
Good day.
WestJet 4900, pushback approved, expect runway 35 left. SkyWest 6704, pushback approved, expect runway 35 left. WestJet 90831, pushback approved, expect runway 35 left.
Cleared for immediate
Air
takeoff.
Canada
Runway
3826
left.
heavy,
Charlie
taxi to
November
runway
Kilo
35
651.
left via Charlie, cross runway 11. No,
Cleared for
don't
takeoff.
spin.
Runway 35 left. Cathay Cargo 7008 heavy.
Air Canada 3826 heavy, hold position.
Taxi to ramp. Charlie November Kilo 185.
Taxi and hold at the intersection of Taxiway Hotel Bravo and Hotel via Juliet.
Air Canada
Hotel.
3826
WestJet
heavy, taxi to runway 35 left via Golf, Juliet, Charlie, cross runway 11.
Taxi to runway 35 left via Juliet. Charlie.
Morningstar 90860 cleared for takeoff, runway 35 left. WestJet 90381, contact departure. Why is there nothing coming in?
Runway 11, Charlie Foxtrot 8 Hotel Nina.
Pushback approved, expect runway 35
Encore
left.
2612, taxi to ramp. Oh, that was a close
Taxi to
save.
runway 35 left.
WestJet 618, taxi to runway 35 left via Charlie, cross runway 11. WestJet 3927, taxi to runway 35 left via Charlie, cross runway 11. WestJet 90831, taxi to runway 35 left via Golf, Charlie, cross runway 11. Next.
Pushback approved, expect runway 35 left. WestJet 618.
Encore 48, cleared for takeoff, runway 35 left. Charlie Foxtrot 8 Hotel Niner, taxi to runway 35 left. Charlie November Kilo 501, approved, expect runway 35 left. Charlie Echo Tango Delta Delta, approved, expect runway 35 left. Airspring 16, cleared to land, runway 35 left. WestJet 4900, taxi to runway 35 left via Uniform, Charlie, cross runway 11. WestJet 88, taxi to ramp. SkyWest 6704, taxi to runway 35 left via Juliet, Charlie, cross runway 11. Oh, busy.
Pushback approved, expect runway 35 left. Air Canada 3826 heavy.
Next. Flare 490, cleared for takeoff, runway 35 left. Air Canada 730, contact departure. Morningstar 90860, contact departure. There's just a few down there.
Calgary departure on 119.8.
Just a few.
Ken West 916. Good day.
Good day.
Calgary departure on 119.8. Charlie November Kilo 651. Good day.
I'm going to get told off in a minute.
Expect runway 35 left. WestJet 3927.
WestJet 5501, pushback approved, expect runway 35 left. WestJet 3927, taxi to runway 35 left via Charlie, cross runway 11.
Line up and wait. Runway 35 left. WestJet 90381.
Taxi to runway 35 left via Juliet.
Charlie Echo
cross
Tango
runway
Delta
11.
Delta,
WestJet
taxi to runway
4047.
35 left. Morningstar 6196, cleared for takeoff, runway 35 left. Flare 3854, pushback approved, expect runway 35 left. WestJet 4811, pushback approved, expect runway 35 left. Encore 48, contact departure. Woof!
Taxi to ramp. Porter Air 2475.
What's DHC?
Cleared for takeoff. Runway 35 left.
De Havilland
WestJet
168, cleared to land, runway 35 right.
Cleared for takeoff. Runway 35 left. Air Canada 730.
Encore 90758. Cleared to land, runway 35 right. This is going to be a problem again.
119.8. Cathay Cargo 7008 Heavy. Good day.
Pushback approved, expect runway 35
This is going to be a problem again.
WestJet 4900.
Damn it.
Pushback approved, expect runway 35 left. SkyWest 6704.
Whew.
Pushback
Okay.
approved, expect runway 35
WestJet
left.
3213,
WestJet
cleared for
9831.
takeoff, runway 35 left. WestJet 5501, taxi to runway 35 left via Charlie, cross runway 11. Porter Air 2127, pushback approved, expect runway 35 left. Charlie November Kilo 501, approved, oh no, you need pushback. Charlie November Kilo 501, pushback approved, facing south. I knew that was going to happen.
Taxi to runway 35 left, via Charlie. Cross runway 11, Air Canada 3826 heavy. Hold position, Air Canada 3826 heavy.
I knew that was going to happen.
Taxi to runway 35 left, via Golf. Juliet.
Canwest
Charlie.
37,
Cross runway 11, Air
cleared to
Canada
land runway
3826
35
heavy.
left. De Havilland 168, change to runway 35 left. It's too late. Damn it. I knew that was going to happen.
Clear for takeoff. Runway 35 left. Morningstar 90860.
Calgary departure on
WestJet 3466, cleared for takeoff runway 35 left. Oh,
Taxi
it
to
is
right.
changing.
Encore 2612.
It is changing. Woo!
Taxi to runway 35 left, via Charlie. Cross runway 11, WestJet 618.
Flare 490, contact departure. Morningstar 6196, contact departure. WestJet 4811, taxi to runway 35 left via Charlie, cross runway 11. Porter Air 2127, pushback approved, expect runway 35 left. Only a dozen
Taxi
in the
to
queue,
runway
can we have
35
more?
left, via Golf.
Flare
Charlie.
35...
Cross runway 11, WestJet 90831.
Flare 3854, taxi to runway 35 left via Juliet, Charlie, cross runway 11. Flare 8364, pushback approved, expect runway 35 left. WestJet 5889er, pushback approved, expect runway 35 left. What a mess.
Cleared for takeoff. Runway 35 left.
Oh, S-Spring
On
went
4 left.
around. S-Spring 16, contact departure. WestJet 3213, contact departure.
Taxi to runway 35 left.
De Havilland
Charlie Foxtrot
168,
88 O'Neill.
cleared to land, runway 35 left.
Approved, expect runway 35 left. Charlie Echo Tango Delta Delta.
I fixed it.
Clear to land. Runway 35 left.
WestJet 6226, pushback approved, expect runway 35 left.
Taxi to runway 35 left, via Uniform, Charlie, cross runway 11, WestJet 4900.
If only I had
Taxi to
moved
land.
this one
WestJet 88.
to the other runway.
Taxi to runway
faster.
35 left, via Juliet.
Oh,
Charlie, cross
WestJet
runway 11.
3
SkyWest
466,
6704.
contact departure.
Cleared for takeoff. Runway 35 left. Flare 490.
Why have we got
Calgary
no more
departure on
arrivals?
119.8, Air Canada 730. Good day.
Calgary departure
WestJet
on
8921,
119.8,
pushback
Morningstar
approved,
9860.
expect runway 35 left.
Pushback approved. Expect runway 35 left. WestJet 5501.
Charlie Foxtrot 8 Hotel 9er, cleared for takeoff, runway 35 left. Charlie November Kilo 501, taxi to runway 35 left. Porter Air 2127, taxi to runway 35 left via Charlie, cross runway 11. Flare 8364, taxi to runway 35 left via Juliet, Charlie, cross runway 11. Flare 6728, pushback approved, expect runway 35 left. WestJet 5889er, taxi to runway 35 left, cross runway 11.
Taxi to runway 35 left, via Charlie. Cross runway 11.
WestJet
3927.
408, pushback approved, expect runway 35 left. WestJet 6226, pushback approved, expect runway 35 left. SkyWest 8169er, pushback approved, expect runway 35 left. You wouldn't want to be in a hurry to get out of this
Taxi
place.
to runway 35 left. Charlie Echo Tango Delta.
Encore 2239er, cleared for immediate takeoff, runway 35 left.
Cleared for takeoff. Runway 35 left.
That is a decent
Morningstar
queue.
6196.
Absolute decent queue.
Pushback approved. Expect runway 35 left. Flare 3854.
Thank you, Benny, for this
Pushback
schedule.
approved, expect runway 35 left. WestJet 4811.
Yeah, cool.
Calgary departure on 119.8. Encore 48. Good day.
Encore 90758, taxi to ramp via Delta, Bravo Charlie.
Clear to land. Runway 35 right. De Havilland 168.
Cleared to land. Runway 35 right. Encore 9758.
Charlie Foxtrot 8, Hotel Niner, contact departure. WestJet 8921, taxi to runway 35 left via Charlie, cross runway 11.
Cleared for takeoff. Runway 35 left. WestJet 3213.
Interesting. Hang on a second. Hang on a
Taxi to
second.
runway 35 left, via Charlie. Cross runway 11. WestJet 5501.
We have another bug. There is another bug. He's just gone down there on his own accord. He has. He's just come down here on his own accord. No approvals whatsoever. He's come straight in off Lima, down Alpha. Damn it. De Havilland 168, taxi to ramp. De Havilland 168, taxi to ramp. So that's a second bug. Not happy. I don't know whether these guys properly tested this airport before it was released, but this is... We can't send people to runway 35 right to take off because they line up automatically. And now the GA arrivals coming in go straight down to the gate. Like, or down to the apron. What the hell? Not happy.
Command property error. Charlie November Kilo 501.
WestJet 408, taxi to runway 35 left via Charlie, cross runway 11. Oh, are we going to get a go around?
Pushback approved facing south. Charlie November Kilo 501.
Nope. Oh,
Cleared
that
to land.
timing.
Runway 35 left. Can West 37.
Change to runway 35 left. De Havilland
Condor
168.
9027 Heavy, cleared for immediate takeoff, runway 35 left.
Cleared for takeoff.
SkyWest
Runway 35 left.
8169, taxi
WestJet
to runway
3466.
35 left via Juliet, Charlie, cross runway 11. Flare 6728, taxi to runway 35 left via Juliet, Charlie, cross runway 11. WestJet 6226, taxi to runway 35 left via Juliet, Charlie, cross runway 11. Encore 2239, contact departure.
Calgary departure on 119.8. Flare 490. Good day.
Calgary departure on 119.8. Morningstar 6196. Good day.
Taxi to runway
Charlie
35
November
left,
Kilo
via
444.
Charlie, cross runway 11, WestJet
Pushback
4811.
approved. Expect runway 35 left. Air Sprint 64 approved. Expect runway 35 left.
Pushback approved. Expect runway 35 left. Port Air 2127.
WestJet 7246 cleared to land. Runway 35 right.
Taxi to runway 35 left via
Charlie
Juliet.
Echo
Charlie,
Tango Delta
cross
Delta.
runway
Line
11,
up and wait.
flare
Runway 35
3854.
left. I'm really
Pushback
disappointed
approved,
with
expect
that.
Runway 35 left. Flare 364.
Encore 8289er. Pushback approved. Expect runway 35 left. WestJet 3893. Pushback approved. Expect runway 35 left.
Pushback approved. Expect runway 35 left.
Air Transat
WestJet
10. Pushback approved. Expect runway 35 left. WestJet 8329er. Pushback approved. Expect runway 35 left. Air France 2662 Heavy. Pushback approved. Expect runway 35 left. Jazz 1746. Pushback approved. Expect runway 35 left. WestJet 8329er. Pushback approved. Expect runway 35 left.
Calgary departure on 119.8, Air Sprint 16. Good day.
Condor 9027 Heavy. Contact departure. Charlie Echo Tango Delta Delta cleared for immediate takeoff. Runway 35 left. Charlie November Kilo 501 cleared for immediate takeoff. Runway 35 left. Charlie November Kilo 444 taxi to runway 35 left. See, he's done it as well.
Calgary departure on 119.8, WestJet 3213.
CanWest 37 taxi to ramp.
Clear to land. Runway 35 left. De Havilland 168.
Calgary departure on 119.8,
Air Sprint 9905
WestJet
cleared to land. Runway
3466.
35 left.
Good day.
Rouge 2652 Heavy cleared to land. Runway 35 right. Encore 8289er taxi to runway 35 left via Charlie, cross runway 11.
Pushback approved. Expect runway 35 left.
WestJet 7488 cleared for takeoff. Runway 35 left. Charlie November Kilo 444 taxi to runway 35 left. Air Sprint 64 taxi to runway 35 left. Air Transat 10 taxi to runway 35 left via Charlie, cross runway 11. WestJet 3893 taxi to runway 35 left, cross runway 11. WestJet 8329er taxi to runway 35 left, cross runway 11. Air France 2662 Heavy taxi to runway 35 left via Juliet, Charlie, cross runway 11. Yep, come on. Air France 2662 Heavy taxi to runway 35 left via Juliet, Charlie, cross runway 11.
Cleared for takeoff. Runway 35
Charlie
left.
Echo Tango
Charlie
Delta
Fox
Delta,
Potato
contact
Domino.
departure. Charlie November Kilo 501, contact departure.
Taxi to runway 35 left. Charlie November Kilo 501.
Charlie November Kilo 78, change to runway 35 left.
Taxi to runway 35 left, right Charlie, cross runway 11, port air 2127.
United 4237 cleared for immediate takeoff, runway 35 left.
Taxi to runway 35 left.
Rouge 9685 heavy cleared for immediate takeoff, runway 35 left.
364.
WestJet 7488 contact departure. How's the queue now? Morningstar 1066 pushback approved, expect runway 35 left. Jazz 1746 taxi to runway 35 left via Juliet Charlie cross runway 11.
Taxi to runway 35 left, cross runway 11, WestJet 5889.
Charlie November Kilo 78 cleared to land, runway 35 left.
Pushback approved.
Airspring 16 cleared to land, runway 35 left. Encore 2654 cleared to land, runway 35 right. WestJet 7246 taxi to the intersection of Hotel Bravo and Hotel via Juliet Hotel.
Pushback approved.
Canwest 37 taxi to ramp.
WestJet 6226.
Pushback approved. Expect runway 35 left.
Airspring's going
SkyWest
around.
8169er.
Rouge took too long.
Cleared for immediate takeoff.
Airspring 9905 contact departure. United 4237 contact departure.
Taxi to Ram via Delta. Bravo Charlie. Encore 9758.
Calgary departure on 11.
I don't think the queue's long
Charlie
enough.
Foxtrot 8 Hotel Nina. Good day.
Canwest 37 taxi to ramp. Or you could just die.
Taxi to runway 35 left.
Canwest 88.
Cross runway 11.
Pushback approved. Expect runway 35 left. Morningstar 1066 taxi to runway 35 left.
Taxi to ramp. De Havilland 168.
This queue is ridiculous.
Taxi to runway 35 left via Charlie. Cross runway 11. WestJet 408.
Rouge 2652 heavy taxi to ramp. Rouge 9685 heavy contact departure. Alright.
Cleared for immediate takeoff, runway 35 left, Condor 927 heavy.
Taxi to runway 35
WestJet
left.
2557 cleared for
Charlie,
immediate takeoff,
Ross,
runway
runway
35 left.
SkyWest 8169er.
United 7385 cleared for takeoff, runway 35 left.
Taxi to runway 35
Encore
left.
90865 cleared to land, runway 35 right.
Flare 6728.
Systemas 11 pushback approved. Expect runway 35 left. WestJet 7148 pushback approved. Expect runway 35 left. Porter Air 3858 pushback approved. Expect runway 35 left. WestJet 4467 pushback approved. Expect runway 34. WestJet 4467 pushback approved. Expect runway 35 left.
Taxi to runway
WestJet
35
8426
left, via
pushback
Juliet.
approved.
Charlie.
Expect
Cross
runway
11,
35 left.
WestJet 6226.
Hello? Any day now? Thank you.
Calgary departure on 119.8. Encore
Can we
2239.
squeeze another out? Yes. WestJet 4047 cleared for immediate takeoff, runway 35 left. Can we get another out?
Pushback approved.
WestJet
Expect runway 35
9831
left.
cleared
Charlie
for
November
takeoff,
Kilo
runway
444.
35 left.
Approved. Expect runway 35 left. Airsprint 64.
This guy
Clear
is
to land,
annoying.
runway 35 right, WestJet 7246.
Line up and wait. Runway 35 left. Charlie Echo Tango Delta Delta.
Morningstar 5147 pushback approved. Expect runway 35 left. Can West 88. Pushback approved. Expect runway 35 left. Don't tell me you...
Pushback approved. Expect runway 35 left. Encore 8289er.
Pushback
approved. Expect
Can
runway
West
35
88.
left.
Approved.
WestJet
Expect
3893.
runway 35 left.
Pushback approved. Expect runway 35 left. Air Transat 10.
Oh, this is funny.
Pushback approved. Expect runway 35 left. Air France 2662 Heavy.
This is funny. Where are you going? Right. Cool. And how do you intend on getting there? SkyWest 8169er, hold position. Charlie November Kilo 78, taxi to ramp. I have no idea how you're going to get there. But sure.
Pushback approved.
By all
Expect
means,
runway
try it.
35 left. Jazz 1746.
Pushback approved. Expect runway 35 left. WestJet 8329er.
Calgary departure on 119.8. Condor 927 Heavy.
WestJet 2557, contact departure. United 7385, contact departure.
Cleared for immediate takeoff. Runway 35 left. Charlie Echo Tango Delta Delta.
So if only you guys could see my TS3 assistant at the moment. It is showing 80, 131, 195 voice commands that need to be repeated back to me. What's going on here? Let's go back to the tower. There we go.
Cleared for immediate takeoff. Runway 35
Porter
left.
Air
Charlie November Kilo 50.
3858. Pushback approved. Expect runway 35 left. WestJet 7148. Taxi to runway 35 left. Cross runway 11. I don't remember your name.
Taxi to ramp. Can West 37.
Cleared to land. Runway 35
WestJet
left.
4467.
Airsprint
Taxi
995.
to runway 35 left. Cross runway 11. WestJet 8426. Taxi to runway 35 left. Via Juliet, Charlie, cross runway 11.
Clear to land. Runway 35 right. Rouge 2652 Heavy.
WestJet 7246, taxi to ramp. Morningstar 5147, taxi to runway 35 left.
Taxi to runway 35 left.
Charlie November
Charlie,
Kilo
cross
444,
runway 11.
cleared for immediate
Anchor
takeoff, runway
8289.
35 left. Encore 1152, cleared to land, runway 35 right. WestJet 4047, contact departure. WestJet 90831, contact departure. When the queue backs up to
Cleared for
Crossway,
takeoff.
you get an
Runway 35
achievement.
left.
Do I?
WestJet 7488.
No way.
Taxi to runway 35 left.
WestJet
Charlie November Kilo
5556,
444.
pushback approved, expect runway 35 left. Encore 2654, taxi to ramp.
Taxi to runway 35 left. Airsprint 64.
Taxi to runway 35
Porter
left.
Air
via
3858,
Charlie.
taxi
Cross
to
runway 11.
runway
Air Transat
35
10.
left, cross runway 11. Morningstar 5147, taxi to runway 35 left.
Taxi to runway 35 left.
Airsprint
Cross
64,
runway
cleared
11.
for immediate
WestJet
takeoff, runway 35
3893.
left.
Taxi to runway 35 left. Cross runway 11. WestJet 8329.
Morningstar 1066, line up and wait, runway 35 left. CanWest 88, taxi to runway 35 left. CanWest 37, taxi to ramp.
Taxi to runway 35 left, via Juliet, Charlie, cross runway 11, Air France 2662 Heavy. Taxi to runway 35 left, via Juliet, Charlie, cross runway 11, Air France 2662 Heavy.
Calgary departure on 119.8, Charlie Echo Tango Delta Delta. Good day.
Calgary departure on 119.8. Charlie November Kilo 501. Good day.
Change to runway 35 left. Charlie November Kilo 78.
Charlie November Kilo 444, contact departure.
Cleared for immediate takeoff. Runway 35 left.
CanWest 88, taxi to runway 35 left.
Cleared for immediate takeoff. Runway 35 left. Rouge 90685 Heavy.
Encore 98865, taxi to ramp. WestJet 5556, taxi to runway 35 left.
Calgary departure on 119.8. WestJet 7488. Good day.
Encore 99969, pushback approved, expect runway 35 left.
Pushback approved. Expect runway 35 left.
We've almost run out of
066.
departures.
Taxi to runway 35 left.
Or
via
planes
Juliet,
boarding.
Charlie, cross
Morningstar
runway
1066,
Jazz
cleared for
1746.
immediate takeoff, runway 35 left. Airspring 64, contact departure. Air Canada 3826 Heavy, cleared for takeoff, runway 35 left. Air Canada, how long have you been sitting in that queue for?
Runway 35 left. Charlie November Kilo 78.
Whoa.
Clear to land, runway 35 left, Air Sprint 16.
Whoa.
Clear to land, runway 35 right, Encore 2654.
So Air Canada was sitting in that
Taxi and hold at
queue.
the intersection of Taxiway Hotel Bravo and Hotel.
Oh,
via
actually,
Juliet,
no,
Hotel,
Air Canada
WestJet
was told to come
7246.
down 29 minutes ago.
Taxi to ramp. CanWest 37.
WestJet 4900, line up and wait, runway 35 left. What do we got up here? Cargo Jet 8306. Pushback approved, expect runway 35 left. WestJet 7427, pushback approved, expect runway 35 left.
Calgary departure on 119.8.
Encore
Airsprint 995.
6682, pushback approved, expect runway 35 left. Can't believe we've almost survived an hour.
Calgary departure on 119.8. United 4237. Good day.
WestJet 1733, cleared to land runway 35 right. Morningstar 1066, contact departure. Airspring 9905, cleared to land, runway 35 left.
Taxi to ramp. CanWest 37.
Negative. I don't need pushback truck.
Exactly.
CanWest 88.
Encore 99969, taxi to runway 35 left via Juliet, Charlie, cross runway 11. WestJet 5556, cross runway 11. Now, I told someone to
Taxi
hold,
runway
didn't I?
35 left.
SkyWest.
Morningstar 1066.
Taxi to Ram. Rouge 265.
SkyWest 8169er. Continue taxi.
Calgary departure on 119.8. Rouge 90685
See, Airspring has
Heavy.
done it as
Good
well.
day.
Airspring 16, taxi to ramp.
Clear for immediate takeoff. Runway
Encore
35 left.
7110,
WestJet
cleared to land,
2557.
runway 35 right. Air Canada 3826 Heavy, contact departure. WestJet 4900, cleared for takeoff, runway 35 left. WestJet 618, cleared for immediate takeoff, runway 35 left.
Clear for takeoff.
SkyWest 6704, cleared for takeoff, runway 35 left. WestJet 7427, taxi to runway 35 left, cross runway 11. Cargo Jet 8306, taxi to runway 35 left, cross runway 11. Encore 6682, taxi to runway 35 left, via Juliet, Charlie, cross runway 11. Encore 1152, taxi to ramp via Delta, Bravo, Charlie. Perfect.
Cleared to land. Runway 35 right. Encore 9
Encore 4600, pushback approved. Expect runway 35 left. Encore 6682, taxi to runway 35 left via Juliet, Charlie, cross runway 11. Oi. Air Canada 3826 Heavy, contact departure. WestJet 4900, contact departure. Come on, SkyWest, move, move,
runway 35
move.
left. System is 1-1.
Pushback approved. Expect runway 35 left. WestJet 714.
Come on, SkyWest.
Unable to take off from this runway. The runway is too short for takeoff. WestJet 4467.
What?
Pushback approved. Expect runway 3. WestJet 4467.
Encore 5873, pushback approved. Expect runway 35 left. Damn it. Airspring 9905, contact departure.
Pushback approved.
CanWest
Runway
88,
35
cleared for
left.
immediate takeoff,
WestJet
runway 35 left.
4467.
Pushback approved. Expect runway 35 left.
WestJet 618, contact departure. SkyWest, why were you
Cleared
so
for
slow?
immediate takeoff. Runway 35 left. WestJet 4047.
Cleared for takeoff. Runway 35 left. WestJet 90831.
Can't
Pushback
believe
approved. Expect runway
that.
35 left. Morningstar 5147.
Encore 4736, cleared to land, runway 35 right. Any day now.
Negative.
Come on.
I don't need pushback truck. Just approve. Can West 88.
Morningstar 5147, cleared for takeoff, runway 35 left.
Approved. Expect runway 35 left.
Airspring
Can West
16, taxi to ramp.
Hold position. SkyWest 8169er.
Taxi to Ram, Charlie November Kilo 78.
Calgary
Don't tell me I
departure on
found another
119.8.
bug.
WestJet 2557. Good day.
Calgary departure on 119.
SkyWest 6704,
Good day.
contact departure. I've got a feeling I found another
Expect runway
bug.
35 left. Porter Air 3858.
Taxi to runway 35 left. Cross runway 11. WestJet 7148.
Taxi to runway 35 left. Cross runway 11. WestJet 4467.
Taxi to runway 35 left via Juliet.
Encore
Charlie,
4600,
cross
taxi to
runway
runway
11,
35
WestJet
left via Juliet, Charlie, cross runway 11. WestJet 1733, taxi to the intersection of Hotel Bravo and Hotel via Juliet, Hotel.
Taxi to ramp. WestJet 7246.
Encore 5873, taxi to runway 35 left via Charlie, cross runway 11. The guys that developed this
Cleared for immediate takeoff. Runway 35 left. Charlie November Kilo
this
444.
airport are a new
Clear to
they're a
land.
new developer,
Runway 35 right. Encore 1152.
and yeah, it's
Calgary
not the
departure on
normal guys.
119.8. WestJet 4047. Good day.
CanWest 88, contact departure. WestJet 3927 cleared for immediate takeoff, runway 35 left. WestJet 5501 cleared for immediate takeoff, runway 35 left. Let me check Discord. Has someone
Calgary
else
departure
reported
on
this?
119.8, WestJet 90831, good day.
Bug reports.
Pushback approved, expect runway 35 left, WestJet 5556.
Taxi to ramp, Encore 2654.
No.
Taxi to runway 35 left, cross runway 11, Porter Air 3858.
Taxi to runway 35 left, Morningstar 5147.
Oh, yep. Small plane exit behavior
Cleared for immediate takeoff. Runway 35 left. Air Sprint 6.
is
Line
broken.
Runway, runway 35 left.
Yeah.
Morningstar 1066.
It's been
Taxi
reported.
to ramp, Can West 37.
Reported by Pencher
Runway
Man.
35 left. Cross runway 11.
Morningstar
System is
5147. Contact departure.
Calgary departure on 119.8. Charlie November Kilo 444. Good day.
This is
Taxi to
I'm
runway 35 left, Can West 88.
Taxi to RAM.
WestJet 4811 cleared for immediate takeoff, runway 35 left.
Taxi to runway
Flare
35 left,
3854
WestJet
cleared for takeoff,
5556.
runway 35 left.
Pushback approved. Expect runway 35 left. Encore 9er
Clear for immediate takeoff. Runway 35 left. Morningstar 1066.
Calgary departure on 119.8. Air Sprint 64. Good day.
Cleared for takeoff. Runway 35 left. Air Canada 3826 heavy.
WestJet 3927, contact departure.
Line up and wait. Runway 35 left. WestJet 4900.
WestJet 7110, taxi to ramp. Encore 7110, taxi to ramp. That was 100% me. Incorrect.
Pushback approved. Expect runway 35 left. Cargo
Next.
jet 8306.
WestJet 7427, cleared for takeoff, runway 35 left. Let's get this queue down.
Pushback approved. Expect runway 35 left. WestJet 7427.
Another deletion. I've not had to delete so many planes for a very long time. It's annoying. What is this one? Doesn't have a livery. It's annoying.
Pushback approved, expect runway 35 left, Encore 6682.
Clear to land. Runway 35 right. WestJet 1733.
Calgary departure on 119.8. Morningstar 1066. Good day.
Clear to land. Runway
WestJet
35 left.
5501,
Airsprint
contact
995.
departure.
Taxi to runway 35 left via Juliet. Charlie, cross runway 11. Encore 9er.
Cross runway 11, WestJet 5556.
Cargo jet 2350 heavy, pushback approved. Expect runway 35 left.
Continue taxi.
WestJet 2958. Pushback approved. Expect runway 35 left. Encore 4736. Taxi to ramp. WestJet 4811. Contact departure.
Taxi to ramp. Air Sprint 16.
Don't want to have to speak to these guys again. There we go. Send.
Cleared to land, runway 35 right, Encore 7110.
Cleared for takeoff. Runway 35 left. WestJet 4900.
Oh, I forgot to say contact departure. Send.
Cleared for immediate takeoff, runway 35 left, WestJet 618.
Cleared for takeoff, runway 35 left, SkyWest 6704.
Okay. WestJet 1733, taxi to ramp.
Taxi to runway 35 left, cross runway 11, WestJet 7427.
Flare 3854, contact departure. WestJet 7427, contact departure. Encore 7417, clear to land runway 35 right.
Taxi to runway 35 left, cross runway 11.
I don't know what they've done wobbly. I don't.
Taxi to ramp via Delta, Bravo Charlie.
It just
Encore
seems
1152.
way too buggy to have been released.
Pushback approved. Expect runway 35 left. Encore 4600.
QA
Taxi to
testing
runway
is
35
missing.
left, via Juliet, Charlie, cross runway 11, Encore 6682.
Calgary departure on 119.8, Air Canada 3826 heavy. Good day.
Can West 845, approved, expect runway 35 left.
Calgary departure on
WestJet
119.8,
5889er, cleared for
4900.
takeoff runway
Good day.
35 left.
Pushback approved. Expect runway
Porter
35
Air
left,
2127, cleared for takeoff runway 35 left.
Calgary departure on 119.8. Air Sprint 995. Good day.
Cargo Jet 2350 heavy, taxi to runway 35 left, cross runway 11. WestJet 6570, pushback approved, expect runway 35 left.
Cleared for immediate takeoff, runway 35 left, can West 88. Calgary departure on 119.8, WestJet 618.
Come on, WestJet.
Good day. Cleared to land, runway 35 right, Encore 4736.
Come on, WestJet, get moving.
Cleared for takeoff, runway 35 left, Morningstar 5147.
Taxi to ramp, Air Sprint 16.
Calgary departure on 119.8, SkyWest 6704. Good day.
Taxi to runway 35 left via Juliet, Charlie, cross runway 11, Encore 4600.
Yes, it's a DLC, so
Taxi and hold at the intersection.
majority of the
Hotel Bravo and Hotel
airports
via Juliet,
are
WestJet
separate
173.
DLCs done by different developers.
runway 11.
The main developer of the airport, or of the game, Feel There, they occasionally release airports.
Clear for
So,
immediate takeoff. Runway 35 left.
but there's
WestJet
third-party
3927.
developers that also build airports for them, and members of the community also build airports and put them up on
Calgary
Discord
departure
for free.
119.8, Morningstar 5147. Good day. Good job.
WestJet 89021, cleared for takeoff, runway 35 left. Go.
Cleared for immediate takeoff. Runway 35 left. WestJet 4811.
Jazz 1114, cleared to land, runway 35 right. WestJet 5889er, contact departure. Porter Air 2127, contact departure. Flare 8364, cleared for takeoff, runway 35 left. WestJet 2958, pushback approved, expect runway 35 left. WestJet 6570, taxi to runway 35 left.
Cleared for takeoff, runway 35 left, flare 3854.
Calgary departure on 119.8. WestJet 3927. Good day.
Taxi to ramp, Encore 7110.
Clear for takeoff, runway 35 left, WestJet 7427.
Go Flare.
Calgary departure on 119.8, WestJet 5501. Good
Cargo
day.
Jet 8306, cleared for takeoff, runway 35 left. What is Cargo Jet?
Pushback approved.
Oh, it's a
expect runway
757,
35
a
left.
freighter.
Cargo Jet 2350 heavy.
CanWest 845 approved. Expect runway 35 left.
Taxi to ramp. Encore 4736.
Calgary departure on 119.8, WestJet 4811. Good day.
Negative. Say again. System is 1-1.
What?
Runway 35 left. Cleared for takeoff. On reaching altitude 1000. Contact departure. System is 1-1.
Taxi to ramp. WestJet 1733.
Calgary departure on 119.8, flare 3854. Good day.
Oh, Airspring 995, cleared to land, runway 35 left. Trying again.
Calgary departure on
WestJet
119.8,
7462, cleared to land, runway 35 right. WestJet 89021, contact departure. Flare 8364, contact departure. Encore 7417, taxi to the intersection of Hotel Bravo and Hotel via Juliet, Hotel. Cathay Cargo 5637 heavy, pushback approved, expect runway 35 left. CanWest 845, taxi to runway 35 left. WestJet 408, cleared for immediate takeoff, runway 35 left. Who's next?
Clear to land.
WestJet 66.
Right. Encore 7417.
WestJet 6226, cleared for takeoff, runway 35 left. WestJet 2958, taxi to runway 35 left via Charlie, Cross-Runway 11. Flare 8364, contact departure. Cargo Jet 8306, contact departure.
Cleared for takeoff. Runway 35 left. WestJet 5889. Cleared for takeoff. Runway 35 left. Port Air 2127.
SkyWest 8169er, cleared for takeoff, runway 35 left. Let's just keep them rolling.
Taxi to runway 35 left. Cross runway 11. Cargo jet 2350 heavy.
Pushback approved. Expect runway 35 left. WestJet 6570.
Cleared for takeoff. Runway 35 left. WestJet 8921.
Come on,
Cleared to
WestJet.
land. Runway 35 right. Jazz 1114.
Calgary departure on 119.8. WestJet 5889. Good day. Calgary departure on 119.8. Port Air 2127.
Flare 6728, cleared for takeoff, runway 35 left.
Cleared for takeoff. Runway 35 left. Flare 8364.
I think that'll be the last one there.
Runway 35 left. WestJet 2958.
How far back does the queue go?
Taxi to runway 35
Whoa,
left.
look at all these props.
6570. Cleared for takeoff. Runway 35 left. Cargo jet 8306.
Approved. Expect runway 35 left. CanWest 845.
Maybe.
Cleared to land. Runway 35 left. Air Sprint 995.
WestJet 6570, cross runway 11. WestJet 408, contact departure. Cathay Cargo 5637 heavy, taxi to runway 35 left. Cross runway 11.
Cleared to land. Runway
They could.
35 right. WestJet 7462.
Actually, hang on.
WestJet 8921.
10 degrees, 8 knots. No, they couldn't.
Taxi and hold at the
The
intersection
wind
of
would be
Taxiway
too strong.
Hotel Bravo and Hotel via Juliet, Hotel. Encore 7417.
WestJet 6226, contact departure.
Pushback approved.
SkyWest
Runway
8169,
35 left. Cathay
contact
Cargo
departure.
5637 heavy.
WestJet 5408, cleared to land, runway 35 right.
Taxi to runway 35
Wow,
left.
this queue.
CanWest 845.
Cleared for immediate takeoff. Runway 35 left. WestJet 408.
Encore 7 more. Encore 7417, taxi to ramp.
Cleared for takeoff. Runway 35 left.
Somewhere down there.
6226.
Taxi to runway 35 left, via Charlie.
Is
Cross runway
Airspring
11,
actually going to get to
WestJet
land this time?
2958.
Flare 6728, contact departure. Airspring is actually going to be able to land.
Flare 364. Good day.
Just for the record, we have handled 110 planes.
Cargo jet 8306. Good day.
Jazz 1114, taxi to ramp.
Cleared for takeoff. Runway 35
Little
left.
GA
Skywest
plane.
8169.
Cool, who's next?
Cleared for takeoff. Runway 35 left. Flare
Cargo jet
6728.
2350 heavy, cleared for immediate takeoff, runway 35 left.
Cross runway
767,
11, WestJet
freighter.
6570.
Calgary departure on 119.8. WestJet 408. Good day.
Good day.
Taxi to runway 35 left, cross runway 11. Cathay cargo 5637 heavy.
We've only got 200 pending
Departure
commands
on
that are going to
119.8.
just start cycling
WestJet
through.
6226. Good day.
Calgary departure on 119.8. Skywest 8169. Good day.
You're going that way.
Clear to land. Runway 35 right.
WestJet
5408.
7462, taxi to terminal. Jazz 85906, pushback approved, expect runway 35 left.
Taxi to ramp. Encore 7417.
Charlie November Kilo 614, change to runway 35 left.
Calgary departure on 119.8. Flare 6728. Good day.
I could have probably kept them on actually.
Jazz 1114.
WestJet is at fair
Cleared for
enough
immediate
distance
takeoff.
away.
Runway 35 left. Cargo jet 2350 heavy.
Taxi to terminal.
WestJet
7462.
3893, line up and wait, runway 35 left. Whoa, this one actually yielded.
I'm
What?
on ground. Jazz 85903.
Change to runway 35 left. Charlie November Kilo 614.
So getting him to go around three
Line up and wait.
times
Runway
probably
35
helped.
left. WestJet 38903.
I'm making coffee,
Calgary
you
ground.
want one?
Charlie
Yes please.
November Kilo 751 ready to taxi. Calgary ground.
Airspring
Encore
9905,
1347 ready
taxi to ramp.
Taxi to ramp. Airspring 9905.
Jazz 85903, pushback approved, expect runway 35 left.
Pushback approved. Expect runway 35 left. Jazz 85903.
Got ExecJet down
Calgary
there.
Tower. WestJet 8155 heavy on final 35 right.
WestJet 38903, cleared for takeoff, runway 35 left.
Calgary ground. Airspring 261
WestJet
ready taxi.
38903, cleared for takeoff, runway 35 left. Charlie November Kilo 614, cleared to land, runway 35 left. WestJet 8693, cleared to land, runway 35 right.
Cleared for takeoff.
WestJet
Runway
8329,
35
cleared for
WestJet
immediate takeoff,
3893.
runway 35 left. Encore 8289, cleared for takeoff, runway 35 left.
Cleared to land. Runway 35
This
left.
schedule is
Charlie
ridiculous.
November Kilo 614.
Cleared to land. Runway 35 right.
But I'm okay
WestJet
with it now.
8693.
Cleared for immediate takeoff.
Cargo
Runway
jet
35 left.
2350
WestJet
heavy,
8329.
contact departure.
Cleared for takeoff. Runway 35 left. Anchor 8289.
Ooh, we've got some cargo
Calgary
coming in.
departure on
This is going to be
119.8.
interesting.
Cargo jet 2350.
We're going to have to send them
Good day.
all the way across Juliet.
Calgary ground. WestJet 8906 ready to taxi.
Calgary Tower. Charlie November Kilo 677 on final 35 left.
Go, go, go.
WestJet 5535 on final 35 right.
Calgary ground.
Encore
ready to taxi.
8289, cleared for immediate takeoff, runway 35 left. WestJet 3893, contact departure. Oh, really?
Cleared for immediate takeoff. Runway 35 left. Anchor 8289er.
Why does he want a
Calgary
word?
Departure on 119.8. WestJet 38903. Good day.
Calgary ground, WestJet 3808 ready to taxi.
Calgary ground, WestJet 90381 ready to taxi.
Calgary ground, Air Canada 730 ready to taxi.
Gee,
Calgary Tower, Charlie November Kilo 185 on final 35 left.
I would be cacking my
Calgary
dax
ground,
having a
Encore
747
239
coming
ready
up
to taxi.
behind me.
Calgary Tower, can West
WestJet
27 on final 35 right.
5408, taxi to ramp via Juliet, Golf.
Taxi to ramp.
Jazz
via Juliet.
8593,
Golf.
taxi to runway
WestJet
35 left
5408.
via Juliet, Charlie, cross runway 11.
Taxi to runway 35
Coming
left
down.
via Juliet, Charlie, cross runway 11. Jazz 8593.
WestJet 8329er, contact departure. CanWest 845, cleared for immediate takeoff, runway 35 left. Encore 8289er, contact departure. Morningstar 6182, cleared to land, runway 35 right.
Calgary departure on 119.8. WestJet 8329er. Good day.
Ooh.
Cleared for immediate takeoff. Runway 35 left. Can West 845.
Come on,
Departure
you're
on
holding everything up.
119.8. Anchor 8289er. Good day. Cleared to land. Runway 35 right. Morningstar 6182.
Calgary ground, Charlie November
Encore
Kilo 651 ready to taxi.
4824, pushback approved, expect runway 35 left. WestJet 1159er, pushback approved, expect runway 35 left.
Pushback approved, expect runway 35 left. Encore 4824.
Pushback approved. Expect runway 35 left. WestJet 1159.
I don't think there's enough WestJet planes along here.
Calgary ground, Can West 916 ready to taxi.
Air France 2662 heavy, cleared for takeoff, runway 35 left. Encore 9828, cleared to land, runway 35 right.
Cleared for takeoff. Runway 35 left. Air France 2662 heavy.
Cleared to land.
Cathay
Runway
Cargo
35 right.
5637
Encore
heavy, cleared for takeoff, runway 35 left. ExecJet 626, approved, expect runway 35 left. Charlie Romeo Uniform 43, approved, expect runway 35 left.
Cleared for takeoff. Runway 35 left. Cathay Cargo 5637 heavy.
Come on, Air France.
Negative. Need approve first.
You've got a 747 coming up your
626.
backside. Get your A330-200 out of here.
Charlie Romeo Uniform 43.
Get it moving, get it moving.
Calgary ground, WestJet 3466 ready to taxi.
Can West 845, contact departure.
Calgary departure on 119.8. Can West 845. Good day.
Calgary ground, WestJet 3213 ready to taxi.
Calgary ground, Flare 490 ready to taxi.
Oh.
Calgary Tower.
Charlie,
Encore
November
7260,
Kilo
final
614,
35
taxi to ramp. So you actually held. That's interesting.
Taxi to ramp. Charlie November Kilo
Come on, Cathay
614.
Cargo. 747.
Encore 9758 on final 35 left.
Calgary Tower, Porter Air 2475 on final 35 right.
Calgary ground, Cathay Cargo 7008 heavy ready to taxi.
Calgary Tower, Encore 1152 on final 35 left.
Ooh, heading to Alaska.
Calgary
Anchorage
ground,
in Alaska.
1533 ready to taxi.
Off you go.
Calgary
747.
Tower, Encore 2654 on final 35 left.
Encore 4824, taxi to runway 35 left via Juliet, Charlie, cross runway 11. I can see the end of the line.
Taxi to runway 35 left, right Juliet.
SkyWest
Charlie,
8395,
cross runway
pushback
11,
approved,
Encore 4824.
expect runway 35 left. WestJet 1159, taxi to runway 35 left via Juliet, Charlie, cross runway 11.
Pushback approved. Expect runway 35 left. SkyWest 83.
Air Transat 10, line up and wait, runway 35 left. ExecJet 626, pushback approved, expect runway 35 left. ExecJet 626. ExecJet 626. ExecJet 626. What?
Taxi to runway 35 left via Juliet, Charlie, cross runway 11, WestJet 1159er.
I don't want to have to deal with you. If you're not going to listen to your own call sign, go away. Jazz 2303, pushback approved, expect runway 35 left.
Line up and wait, runway 35 left, Air Transat 10.
WestJet 8603, taxi to the intersection of Juliet and Golf via Juliet.
Pushback approved.
Air France 2662 Heavy, contact departure. Cathay Cargo 5637 Heavy, contact departure. Systemas 63, cleared to land, runway 35 left.
Taxi and hold at the intersection of Taxiway
Encore
Juliet
90353, cleared to land, runway 35 right. What happened there?
Calgary departure on 119.8, Air France 2662 Heavy. Good day.
Wow. That's a little bit awkward. What collision? There's no collision. Alright, let's go back down to where the action is. Right. Air Transat 10. Cleared for takeoff, runway 35 left.
Calgary departure on 119.8, Cathay Cargo 5637 Heavy. Good day.
Clear to land, runway 35 left, system is 63.
Clear to land, runway 35 right, Encore 90353.
Cleared for takeoff.
Jazz 1746, cleared for takeoff, runway 35 left.
Cleared for takeoff, runway 35 left, Jazz 1746.
Calgary Tower, WestJet 88 on final 35 right.
Calgary ground, morning
SkyWest 83905, taxi to runway 35 left via Juliet, Charlie, cross runway 11.
Taxi to runway 35 left via Juliet, Charlie, cross
WestJet 7148, cleared for immediate takeoff, runway 35 left. WestJet 4467, cleared for takeoff, runway 35 left.
Cleared for immediate takeoff, runway 35 left, WestJet 7148.
Cleared for takeoff, runway 35 left, WestJet 4467.
Morningstar 6182, taxi to ramp via Juliet, Whiskey, cross runway 11.
Taxi to ramp via Juliet, Whiskey, cross runway 11.
Not
Morningstar
quite
6182.
the way that I wanted, but sure.
Calgary ground, Morningstar 6196 ready to taxi.
Calgary
Air
ground,
Transat 10,
United
contact
4237 ready to
departure.
taxi.
Calgary departure on 119.8, Air Transat 10. Good day.
Jazz 90303, cleared to land, runway 35 right. Rouge 7920 Heavy, pushback approved, expect runway 35 left.
Cleared to land, runway 35 right.
Jazz 2303, taxi to runway 35 left via Charlie, cross runway 11.
Pushback approved. Expect runway 35 left. Rouge 7920 heavy.
Taxi to runway 35 left, via Charlie. Cross runway 11, Jazz 2303. Calgary ground, WestJet 7488 ready to taxi.
Calgary ground, Condor 9027 heavy ready to taxi.
Calgary ground, Rouge 90685 heavy ready to taxi.
Calgary Tower, Encore 2612 on final 35 right.
Encore 90828, taxi to ramp. Encore 90541, pushback approved, expect runway 35 left.
Taxi to ramp, Encore 90828.
Encore 6914, pushback approved, expect runway 35 left.
Pushback approved, expect runway
Jazz
35
6549,
left.
pushback approved, expect runway 35 left.
Pushback approved. expect
Jazz
runway
1746,
35
contact departure.
6914.
WestJet 7148, contact departure. WestJet 4467, contact departure. WestJet 7781, cleared to land, runway 35 right.
Pushback approved. Expect
WestJet
runway
8426,
35 left.
cleared for
Jazz
takeoff, runway
6549.
35 left. Porter Air 3858, cleared for takeoff, runway 35 left. North Caribou 3774, approved, expect runway 35 left. Charlie Romeo Uniform 43, approved, expect runway 35 left. Systemas 736, pushback approved, expect runway 35 left. Rouge 7920 heavy, taxi to runway 35 left via Bravo, Juliet, Charlie, cross runway 11.
Calgary departure on 119.8, Jazz 1746. Good day.
Calgary departure
Skywest
on
5410,
119.8,
pushback
WestJet
approved,
7148.
expect runway
Good day.
35 left. We're up to 133.
Calgary departure on 119.8, WestJet 4467. Good day,
Hey.
good job.
Cleared for
Doesn't feel
takeoff.
like it.
Runway 35 left. WestJet 8426.
Systemas 63, taxi to the intersection of Lima and Alpha.
Clear for takeoff, runway 35 left.
WestJet
Porter Air 3858.
55546. WestJet 5556, cleared for takeoff, runway 35 left. Encore 90969, cleared for takeoff, runway 35 left. WestJet 1239, pushback approved, expect runway 35 left. Encore 90541, taxi to runway 35 left via Charlie, cross runway 11. Morningstar 6182, cross runway 35 left. WestJet 8426, contact departure.
Approved, expect runway 35 left. North Caribou 3774.
Encore 69014, taxi to runway 35 left, cross runway 11.
Pushback approved. Expect runway 35 left. System is 736.
Taxi to runway 35 left. Via
Encore
Bravo,
90353,
Juliet,
taxi to ramp.
Cross runway 11. Rouge 7920 heavy.
Encore 6682, cleared for takeoff, runway 35 left. Charlie Romeo Uniform 43, taxi to runway 35 left. Charlie Romeo Uniform 43, taxi to runway 35 left. Sistema 736, taxi to runway 35 left.
Pushback approved. Expect runway 35 left. Sky West 5410.
Encore 5873, cleared for takeoff, runway 35 left. Sky West 5410, taxi to runway 35 left via Delta, Juliet, Charlie, cross runway 11. Jazz 6549er, taxi to runway 35 left via Juliet, Charlie, cross runway 11. Morningstar 6182, cross runway 11.
Taxi and hold at the intersection of taxiway Lee.
Encore 4600, cleared for takeoff, runway 35 left. Porter Air 3858, contact departure. WestJet 5556, contact departure. Encore 9969er, contact departure.
Cleared for takeoff, runway 35 left.
Crazy.
WestJet 5556.
Jazz 6549er, taxi to runway 35 left via Juliet, Charlie, cross runway 11.
Cleared for takeoff. Runway 35 left.
Jazz
Anchor
9303, taxi to terminal.
Pushback approved, expect runway 35 left.
SkyWest 5410, hold short, echo. WestJet 6570, clear for takeoff, runway 35 left. Encore 6682, contact departure. Encore 5873, contact departure. Whoa.
Taxi to runway 35 left via Charlie.
WestJet 2958, cleared for takeoff, runway 35 left. Airspring 435, cleared to land, runway 35 left. Whoa!
Runway 35 left.
You should see the cancellations. Should see the cancellations on the board. There is a ton.
WestJet 8426. Good day.
And we've got about 60 late
Taxi
planes.
to runway 35
That's all.
left. Cross runway 11. Encore 6914.
Taxi to ramp.
But that's alright.
353.
We are going to wrap up
Clear to
the
takeoff. Runway 35 left. Encore
stream
6682.
very shortly.
Taxi to runway 35 left. Charlie Romeo Uniform 43.
Taxi to runway 35 left. System is 736.
Clear for takeoff. Runway 35 left. Encore 5873.
Taxi to runway 35 left via Delta, Juliet, Charlie, cross runway 11. Sky West 5410. Cross runway 11. Morningstar 6182.
Cleared for takeoff, runway 35 left, Encore 4600.
Calgary departure on 119.8. Porter Air 3858. Good day. Calgary departure on 119.8. WestJet 5556. Good day.
Calgary departure on 119.8. Encore 9969er. Good day.
Taxi to runway 35 left via Juliet, Charlie, cross runway 11, Jazz 6549er.
Taxi to terminal. Jazz 90303.
Encore 4600, contact departure. WestJet 6570, contact departure.
Hold short of taxiway Echo. Sky West 5410.
Cleared for takeoff. Runway 35 left. WestJet 6570.
Calgary departure on 119.8. Encore 6682. Good day.
Calgary departure on 119.8. Encore 5873. Good day.
Cleared for takeoff, runway 35 left. WestJet 2958. Cleared to land, runway 35 left. Air Sprint 435.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is where we're going to end today's stream. 75 takeoffs, 34 landings, 5 major faults, and 5 deleted planes. Really disappointing schedule. Well, not disappointing schedule, disappointed with the airport and the bugs. I did just receive a message from Pancho though that there is an updated schedule and an updated airport file available that will fix some of the issues that we just had. So yeah, let me know if you want to see another session with the fixed files. But yeah, that is where we're going to leave today's session today. I hope that you did enjoy the craziness that we induced on Calgary. If you did, do tap that like button. And if you are watching on catch up, also tap that like button to let me know that you have been here. If you are new, do subscribe so that you do get notified of when new streams and content do come out. And a huge shout out to the new members that joined during today's stream. Welcome, and as always, I am Gilbee, and I game, and I will catch you in the next one.